having to check, am I live yet? Because there's always that like 30 seconds delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And,
I believe we are live. Hello and welcome to the Becoming Show, episode number 2. Today's guest is my friend Travis Claus. I feel like you're Santa Claus, except you're Travis Claus for the health. You're giving us health, Travis.
I shed the belly, I shaved the beard, kicked the belly drop.
That's right. So Travis Claus is a man who has spent over a decade mastering both the body and the mind. He started with 5 years in the military, building discipline and resilience, and then spent another over 10 years in the fitness industry, deep in the world of training and body transformation. And then COVID hit, and he was in Myanmar at a meditation center. And then so he stayed there for 6 years. And that's when he deep dived into the mind and the human behavior. And he realized that the fitness industry wasn't built for health. It's actually built for selling memberships. And I think Travis is going to share a little bit of how crazy that world is. So he created something completely different. And I was very lucky to get a taste of it, even though online. And today, this is why I want to bring Travis on this show so that he can talk about this. He created a program called Neuro Linguistic Fitness, a system that rewires how you think, move, and live. So health is not just, it's just not how you're looking for things. It's just how you are, how you become. So Travis, I'm so happy you're here today.
Howdy.
And you're in Vietnam. Look at that garden. Holy cow. It helps being married to a Vietnamese girl.
Yeah, it's a different world over here, guys. That's for sure.
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing where you grew up, because I think that kind of shaped how you became like all this.
Well, I'm a simple country boy. I came from West Virginia, country roads and all that. And I'd say, Gwen, that's pretty accurate. It did shape who I am. The further I go, the more I see, the more similarities I see. I find myself, well, actually, that's why I'm in Vietnam. The more traditional lifestyle, the more traditional culture really kind of fits me a lot better. Found myself living in cities a lot, but simple country boy at heart.
I'm curious because I know that you and your wife spent the last 6 years in Myanmar at a meditation center, and I think that's probably the most important phase of your life. Can you share a little bit what you got there?
It's time's funny. We kind of came to the end here in Ho Chi Minh City. As you mentioned before, I was in the fitness industry. She was in the training industry doing big translations for a big time NLP trainer. And we just kind of got tired of it. And we got tired of the whole, our hearts are in helping. Our hearts are in human development. And so it always felt inauthentic if I was shaking your hand with one hand and I was reaching for your wallet with the other one. And so we decided we needed to take a break. We needed to get our heads straight, get out. So we put together this one year project that we were going to do at this meditation center in Myanmar with this Sayadaw that we had become connected with. Sayadaw is a head monk that owns a center or multiple centers, right? And we went there to do that. It was an Earthship project. If any of you are familiar with Earthship, it's eco building, right? You take garbage and turn it into gold. It was fun, and it was beautiful. We brought in 200 something volunteers from Vietnam, plus a few hundred that came just naturally through the center. And then COVID hit, and it blasted out all our volunteers, well, most of our volunteers, and it made it kind of rough. We were still staying the course at that point, planning on the year, and then the Civil War hit on top of that, and COVID intensified. So we lost all of our volunteers. We had maybe like a skeleton crew. We had maybe like 3 people left. And with what we do for a living, and with the fact that we left because we didn't like the slog already, we decided that we would just stay put and kind of shelter in place. And that turned into 6 years. We kept building and all of that, but and I kept working with my clients online back and forth. But mainly, it was a really good opportunity to dig into meditation, to take a much needed break from the world and go inside for a bit.
For a bit, just for a bit.
Just a
And
bit,
what did
just a little bit.
by the way, okay, so outside you're ripped. Inside, how is it?
You know, it's a strange place in here these days. They talk about detachment a lot, and so there's been. I imagine you could call it a learning curve. Coming back into this, stepping back into the world as it is now is that's sobering. There's a fundamental difference between the world we inhabit now and the world that Grandpa raised us to live in.
For sure.
And so I'm helping people a lot to adjust. I'm helping myself a lot to adjust to that. It's a journey, right?
Mm. Okay, well, you know what? The first time that I heard about you or saw you demo, just a few simple things that we do in life. So basically, you basically boil your entire program, NLF, Neuro Linguistic Fitness, down to basically 4 movements that we do 24/7. We either lie down when we sleep, stand, walk, or movements, run and all that, or sit. Basically the 4 movements that we do a lot in our day. And what I really love about your program is there's no like fancy moves that much, but it's just these. If you master the proper movements of these 4 things that we do 24/7, you're good. Your life will be good. The problem is we never were trained this, so we grew up, or I grew up, standing. How do you say that when girls stand crooked on one side because we want to look good, and or wearing high heels. And then some boys, like my family, grew up. Now, this probably is a lot more in Asian countries than Caucasian. I don't know why that is, but my brothers, my dad, they all walk with a V shape, like they walk like this, like Charlie Chaplin. Not as bad, but it's still a V.
Belly out.
And so,
shirt pulled up to mid chest, right? Yeah.
So with all of that, and then even when lying down, usually we have all kinds of bad habits, but we were never taught how to do these things properly. And so that's why today I want you to speak about the basic, simple stuff, the foundations that even if you just master that, you don't need a doctor to go fix your back or fix your all this stuff. And trust me, I've had that problem for a long time, and I'm really grateful that now, thanks to knowing NLF, I have a lot less expense due to massage therapists and chiropractors and all that.
I'm waiting for the check. I'm waiting for the check. I sense the hand. I don't reach for the wallet. I just wait.
It comes after, right? The result. Anyways, yes. So please share just the foundations.
So the problem is that in today's world, I'm not some kind of weird Luddite or anything like that. But I have distanced myself. And the reason I've distanced myself is this, particularly as someone whose heart isn't helping. In today's world, we're sold everything. There's always every need we have. There's a gaggle of people scrambling over one another to try and meet that need for us to get our dollar, right? And so we get conditioned a couple ways by that. First off, we get conditioned so that we don't actively seek solutions for our needs any longer. As you said, no one ever taught us these things. The reason no one ever taught us these things is you can't turn a dime on it. But the thing is, at that point, we become passive in meeting our needs, and we don't really seek out solutions. And so it is something you can boil down to something simple. There's a very simple system of stuff that's necessary to have a good relationship with your physical reality. And that's the way I talk about it, is it's a good relationship with your physical reality. You don't want a gym body necessarily. You don't want to improve your PRs or any of that. No, it's not important to the average person. The average person just wants to survive the day comfortably and lay down with no pain at night. And so that's what we talk about.
No, we also want to look good, ripped, and all that.
Yeah, look good naked. Look good naked. Don't forget, look good naked. Look good naked is clutch. Uh,
But you
so,
know what? Let's solve the pain first before I get to the looking room.
yeah,
Okay, so right now there's pain. We're talking about the negative first. The swing. Let's do the
yeah.
solving the problem first.
If I've got this look on my face, it's hard to look good naked, right? So yeah, we start off with that. We start off with standing because everything's about your, as I said, I bring it back to that, your relationship with your physical reality. And physical reality contains a component of gravity. Even when you're laying down, gravity, gravity, gravity. And so we talk about distributing force. We talk about the way the body's designed to distribute force. The body's made for this. You know, the body's made for movement, but it's also made to maintain a sedentary, or not sedentary, but stable, static position comfortably. And so if you look at the way the body's designed, we start off with the 5 kinetic checkpoints of standing. You stand in balance with gravity, and your body's designed to support that. It's the first act of force generation that your body's designed to perform. And so you stand with, we call it the 5 checkpoints: feet, knees, hips, shoulders, head, and neck. If you line those things up properly, and we start with standing because that's 0. That's your 0 position, right? Everything else comes from that. Sitting, lying, walking, those things are secondary to just standing against gravity. And so we line ourselves up with our feet, our knees, our hips, all
Wait,
in
can
alignment.
you please stand up and show me? Because
Oh, I
honestly,
absolutely
it's much easier. Yeah, it's much easier to actually
Well,
see you point.
I would love to. Let's see if we can get this camera situation working here. Guys, I'm not the most tech savvy, so these are the most interesting parts for
No,
me
can you
personally.
see more of your feet. Yeah.
Or of my feet. All right, let's do my feet. See if we can get feet.
Okay.
That's feet. Okay, so take our feet and we line them up straight. That's still not good. Yeah,
Maybe
apologies, guys. Apologies.
go to the other side where the garden is. Maybe that's a bit. Or
Yeah.
can you turn the angle?
Yeah. You guys want a sweep of my
Yeah. Oh
abode
my
here?
God, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a little
let's do it
studio
good.
here.
This angle is good. This angle is good. Sit right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there, right there. All right, let's lift this up.
Ooh,
Lift this
what a
up.
nice garden.
Yeah, garden
This
time.
is your gym, huh? This is nice. So this is where
Yeah,
Travis does all of his courses in Vietnam.
we just moved in yesterday, so it's still a little raw. Yeah, there we go. That'll be the angle.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So we start with the feet, okay? Because they're where you gain leverage against the ground. Again, standing is an act of force generation, right? So leverage is involved. The first point that you evaluate any movement is leverage, or any act of force generation is leverage. I gain leverage at my feet. So I set my feet up with a mind to my knees and my hips, okay? My knees only do this, right? And if I expect them to work properly, I got to train them to be aligned properly. If I want to do that, I got to start with my feet and my hips, right? Because all the knees do is communicate that force from the hips to the feet. So I find my iliac crests with this little meaty bit of my palms. I shoot a line through the middle of my knees, and I come down to about the inside of my second toe, right? If I do that, then when I go to walk, I'm already lined up. So I set myself up here. Feet, knees, and hips. After that, I take my pelvis and I give it a little tilt forward. What this does is, first off, it sets my base up so that all the force is like imagining gravity kind of traveling through your system like electricity. It goes to ground, right? And so if I tilt my pelvis slightly forward, you can feel it. If you stand like this, line yourself up, protrude your pelvis forward, and then slightly rotating, you'll feel a point where it snaps into place and you feel all that weight direct into your heels. That's what you're going for. In this position, my lower unit functions kind of like a spring, right? And it directs that force down as it should into my heels, so that proper walking, right? Then I take my upper unit, I pull my shoulders back and down just like this. Nothing super exaggerated or anything like that, just comfortably like that. Because what that does is it takes my upper unit, all the weight of my chest, shoulders, head, all of that, and it kind of hangs it on my thoracic spine, on the upper curve of my spine, and it directs it down with that pelvis slightly tilted into the low back, into the hips, and bam, into that lower base, right? So shoulders slightly back and down, chest raised a little bit, rib cage up just slightly. This creates space between my pelvis and my rib cage so that my core muscles can engage and support the whole mess, right? Front and back, then my spine supported, and I'm ready to go. Next thing, I take my head and just kind of throw it up on top of the mat.
Yeah.
Line it up here. Ears should be basically on line with your shoulders. And then you want to tuck your chin in. This disengages the muscles of the neck so that you're not constantly stressing to hold your head. And then you pick up the top of your head like a bag of onions or potatoes, whichever you prefer, and it lifts your frame on top of this structure. This is neutral posture. Standing like this is the way your body's designed. If you were an action figure, you'd be in the plastic like this. And this is the platform from which all the rest of it happens.
Okay.
So, there's neutral.
That's neutral.
Yeah.
I think so. For those who wear heels, we can't be neutral at all.
Well, so here's the thing. Back to over here for a second.
Okay.
The activities that you're going to perform that take you away from neutral posture, those are things you just need to keep into account. That is zero, right? That's your zero state. That's the way God intended. It's the way that you were built to generate force to basically resist gravity. Then you start adding things on. You know that sometimes, I mean, when I wear my heels, I'm a stunner. It brings my calf muscles out, right? Kind of a snack-sized fella, so the heels help out. So you take that into account. And that's part of what we talk about in the course is there are things that you're going to do that take you away from that zero state. And that's not a problem. That's life. That's being a human. What you do is you take those things into account in your training or in your rehab and you just make up for it. So there are things you can do if you like to wear heels. There are things you can do to strengthen your body up for that position. And then there are things you can do to take the tightness back out of your body after you take those heels off.
Well, definitely the youth days are over. But I know that at the time when I was younger, and this is just a girl's thing, like when I was wearing heels at that time, it didn't hurt, it didn't do much. But then as I hit 35, 40, it began to have a longer effect, like impact on my back and everything. And now I can't even wear heels because it's just too much pain. It's not worth it's not worth it. The pain.
It sounds like you need to go to the course. Huh?
Oh yeah, yes. Well, you know what? I can't wait to be able to meet you in person because the online version of it, even though better than nothing, but still, I know that as if we actually can do it offline in person with you having the ability to see how I move and adjust it, then and there would be so powerful. Okay, so you know what? Let me move on to the next thing because this is where I probably experience the most pain, or at least is the cause of most of my problems, is sitting down in front of a computer all day. All day.
Yeah. All day. Yeah, better you than me, sister. So again, that's where we begin. I mentioned when you wear heels, it takes you out of neutral posture, and I mean technically that's taking you out of alignment with how you're designed, right? Sitting. People have a tendency to think that because they're not working as hard, that sitting is a rest posture. And that's technically true, but gravity still. And so what you need to do is you need to understand the mechanics of sitting. You need to understand what's going on there. Let me lower my thing down here for sitting phase. So what we do is we look mechanically at sitting, okay? But when I sit, let me see if I can put this out here so you guys can watch me sit. Yeah. I'm an expert sitter, so you know. Okay, so check this out. When I sit, right? Let's move that slightly that way. There we go. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's mirrored, so it confuses my simple monkey brain. So when I sit, right? Using neutral posture as a judge. Neutral posture has me here. When I sit, the reason I say it's not a rest position, my body doesn't understand, my nervous system doesn't understand, my skeleton doesn't understand it as a rest position, is these muscles, these joints are in a state of contraction and flexion. They're shortened muscles here in the back, lengthened muscles here on the top, and both of these joints are in a state of flexion. So that's to start, and that's if I'm sitting with good posture, right? Which is to say, keeping the rest of my body technically in neutral, right? But that's not always what happens. After an hour or so of good intentions, at the most, I'm giving you a lot of credit here. We start to do this, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, my spine's in flexion, right? In two places, or flexion here, extension here. So I end up with flexion, 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 extension. And so I'm no longer in a rest position biomechanically. I'm all kinds of twisted up, right? And so that begins the cascade failure that leads to office people having terrible pain all over their body, even though they don't really do much, right? Technically, your body thinks you're doing a lot. Your body thinks you're keeping your major joints of your lower body in flexion, which changes the relationship between your muscles that support these joints. Then the most important joint comes into flexion and extension. So you have flexion and extension for joints, right? If the joints are kept at neutral, then the muscles stay in a balanced length across these joints that allows for mobility, allows for good mobility, allows for stability. If you keep these muscles in this position, then the muscles that govern these joints change their length. And so your body, they say it's a good servant to a poor master. It does simply what it's told.
Yeah.
And what it's told is over time. You don't necessarily need to be doing a bunch of squats incorrectly, end up with back issues, hip and knee problems, and issues with your neck, because you've trained these muscles to be at that length passively over time. And so that's the problem we end up with, is while you're sitting all this time, if you've got bad posture, it's really accentuating the effect that sitting will have no matter what. So for sitters, big time sitters, what I recommend is, first, you'll see people with an exercise ball sometimes.
Yeah.
They'll put an exercise ball instead of their seat. All fine and well, until you get on that exercise ball and you find that place where you can do this on the exercise ball, right? What you have to do is take a more active approach to your life. And that's why we talk in NLF about a theory, a philosophy of movement, a relationship with your physical reality that goes beyond movement, because so much of our life is not centered around movement these days. So much of our life is centered around a sedentary situation. So, because we're not our great-grandparents growing up on farms, our grandparents grew up on farms even. I don't even have to go back that far. We don't have that physical component to our day-to-day life. And so you have to put it there. And I'm not saying you need to go to the gym. What I'm saying is you need to remember what's happening here. You need to be knowledgeable and cognizant of what you're doing with your body. If you can do that, and you've got a zero state to come back to, you can't be scientific unless you have standards. And so that's why we start with neutral posture. It gives you that standard to return to. So if you've got that standard to return to, you've got everything, that you can evaluate everything based on that standard. There we go. Words. And so if you look at all the things that you do with your body and refer back to the standard of neutral posture, you can say, okay, cool. In this way, I am conditioning my body out of neutral. And so ergo vis-a-vis concordantly, I must do these things to return it, right? So big time sitters, what we always tell folks is, look at what you're doing to your body. I'm conditioning my body to be like this when I get up. Like a dinosaur. Right? And so what I got to do is I've got to lengthen this, okay? That's going to require some stretching here. I've got to shorten this, which is going to require some work here, and I've got to lengthen this, which is going to require some stretching here, okay? Those are the first things. Beyond that, we talk about a core focus. Whoa! The phone's trying to escape. We talk about a core focus. And so something that you can do, something that I use with my guys here is if you're a big time sitter, what I want you to do is, first off, I want you to try as much as possible to train your body like this. So that's going to require setting up your workstation. So instead of having the keyboard far away, having it set down at a low level, put it so that it forces you into position. Set your monitor here rather than here. Set your chair closer so that way you sit more upright. Little habits like that that encourage a better posture along the way really go a long ways towards mitigating these issues.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, every half hour to an hour, I want you to get up and do some stretches. Remember, you've got to lengthen these areas out that are shortened. So
what kind of stretch do we need to do every, well, you know what? Every half hour is a bit too ambitious. Let's go towards every hour.
I'm a pretty ambitious guy. So I'll always do that, guys. I'll always give you guys what I hope for and like what we can accept, you know? So I'll say a half hour or to an hour, you know, and you guys will hear me the right way. So once an hour, I guess, one. Get up and take a little walk around first. You want to get that blood pumping. A big issue with people is your blood flow. Your body is made for movement. And so if you don't move, again, you're going against that design. And so if you get up and walk around, just get up and take a little walk for a few minutes. It gets the blood pumping because it makes the muscles work. If you get some stairs, super good. Just go take a trip up and down the stairs a couple times until you feel that blood pumping around, and then you're good to go. On that side,
wait, please stop there right for a second. For those of us, I know normally like 5 years ago, this wouldn't be a problem. But recently, I've been having problems walking upstairs on my left knee where it pinches. So for those of us who have issues, okay, so the advice you're giving us is for everybody, for normal people who have no pain.
Mm-hmm.
Can we save a little segment at the end where we're going to address all the pains and then what to do? Okay, awesome. All right. So please go back to normal people, no pain. Okay.
So we'll speak in those hopeful of terms. We'll address those of you that have yet to become injured by this horrible practice.
So we're going to help you prevent getting to the point where you're injured. Okay, sounds good.
Right, yeah, prevention. They say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So, that, get up, walk around, do some hamstring stretches. Because again, your legs are held like this all day, that hamstring is going to get short. So a simple hamstring stretch, just super, super simple. Stand yourself up, stick your leg out, sit back into your butt, stretch that long leg. A little gentle pressure on your knees to keep your spine up. And this will actually help to straighten out your back too, because you see the way I push myself up here? Yeah. That's a great office stretch.
Can you do the same thing, but turn towards the camera? Yeah.
I absolutely can, my dear. And in fact, I'd love to. Check this out. Put a foot out in front, like that, right? Put out in front, I think of it as a horse kneel. Have you ever seen a horse at a competition?
Yes.
Doing those kneels, right?
Yeah.
Foot forward, hands on your knees, shoulders up high, and you're just going to sit your butt back so that long leg, that straight leg stretches. And just hold that for about 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. A lot of folks forget to breathe when they start to stretch. And then switch sides. Drop the other one, kick that leg out forward, slowly lower your butt back. Don't stress that bent knee either. Don't be pushed forward over top of it like that, right? Never, ever, ever let that knee get past that toe. That's one of the holy commandments that come out during the course. Gentle pressure on the knees to push the spine back. And again, present your chest up and out. This will help to stretch from this, right? Yeah. Open yourself up a bit and have a few breaths, about 30 seconds on each side. And that'll clean up your hamstrings. So once an hour, I guess,
Once an hour. And then, so the stretching is what, 5 minutes?
I mean, you can take 5 minutes for the whole thing. Take 5 minutes for the whole thing, and about for every stretch, for a static stretch, you don't want to hold it any longer than 30 seconds. Generally speaking, unless you're getting into some therapeutic stuff where you're purposely really, really, really stretching it out, and that's something we'll talk about in the end for the broken ones.
For the broken
That stretch alone, right there, you poor guys. But no matter how bad off you are, I promise I've probably seen worse. You'd be surprised the stuff people do to themselves by simply not doing anything to themselves.
Oh, that I think that just hit me in a different way. The words, yeah.
Well,
Because I don't do anything. I don't do anything. That's the thing. I didn't do anything. Why did this happen to me?
I didn't even do anything. Well, the way I think about it, again, country boy, you drive around any country place, especially, and you'll see people with dogs outside. They've got this little enclosure outside, and there's a dog in it. And you drive by that house throughout the seasons, and you see that dog's always out there. Some of these places, a little tiny paddock, and the dog's in there just barely able to move around, and they leave the dog out there 4 seasons. And you want to like put on your balaclava and sneak in there at night and liberate this poor animal. You know what I mean? Like snip it loose and get it out of there. I feel like that when I see a lot of your bodies. I feel like you're just leaving the dog out in the yard and just forgetting about it. He never gets to come in and sleep on the couch. And so you got to bring that dog in sometimes, at least once an hour,
Okay, once an hour. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's a sitting. Okay. And funny thing, definitely youth, it's kind of like a battery. When you're young, it doesn't need to recharge as often. And when you recharge, it recharges very quickly and you're fine. But nowadays, I feel like I'm an old phone where I need to recharge very often, much more often. And when it's fully charged, it'll become dead very soon. This is very pathetic, by the way. My body has changed so much as I hit 50. But I find that when I was 30, when I was 40, and then now 50, big difference between 50 and 30 for sure. And then even 40 and 50, there's like, it's the change is not just noticeable. It's like, oh my God, what just happened to me?
Yeah. But I'm 24, so I don't understand that. But I will someday.
Okay, you are 44 now, and
Uh-huh.
and of course you've always been healthy. You were always training and in good since you were born. You were on a farm. No, I remember. Actually, share with me. Oh, okay, so so you were not always healthy. Okay.
My mother is a fabulous cook. Okay, guys, fabulous. And I've got this picture that we used to use for promo when we were when we first started. When the wife and I stepped off and first started doing our thing on our own. I got a picture of me at 18, side by side with a picture of me at 36. And you guys seen that picture of Sasquatch? They've got that picture of Sasquatch where he's kind of turned to the side and looking at the camera, I got a picture like that of me, but I look like shaven Sasquatch. When I was 18, right before I joined the Army, I was, I'll be friendly, I was husky. I weighed maybe 180 pounds, 185 pounds, and I'm not stacked very high, so I had to start being stacked wider and wider. And so I wasn't physical. I mean, I grew up in the country. My parents had a wood-burning stove and a big lawn to mow. Those were the biggest touches that I had with physical activity until I was 18 years old. I was hauling wood and mowing the grass, right? And for me, I mean, that put on a little bit of strength, but I had no concept at all of physicality. And then I joined the Army. So I got lucky with that. And from there, I've been pretty fit since then. But because of that, and because of where I come from, I really appreciate the luck that I had coming into this. Because the thing that makes the biggest difference across all the studies, across all my personal experience with hundreds of clients over the years, thousands of clients now in group sessions, muscle mass, lean muscle mass. If you can maintain an acceptable level of lean muscle mass, it'll insulate you from the lows of the world. And it does a surprising number of other things for your system. And so again, sedentary life, these days we just don't have an outlet for physicality. Who's got the time? I go to the gym 5 days a week. Yeah, for like an hour. And so you're going to take 5 hours. Let's think of it as a scale. Okay. If you take 5 hours, fill them with whatever you can, make them the heaviest 5 hours possible, and then plunk them down on one side. And then you take the other hours, the rest of them, and put them down on the other side of the scale. It's not going to really matter much what's in them. If you're not doing the right stuff during those hours to support those 5 hours in the gym, you're still not going to get the result. And so that's where I'm at here is I don't try to help people have a gym body. I don't try to help people have the gym mentality because it takes a lot of work outside of the gym still to maintain a good, healthy body, a good, healthy movement, and a good relationship with your physical reality. What it comes down to is if I had to choose, if I could have control of your 5 hours in the gym or the rest of the time, I'll take the rest of the time every day. Because if you build the right habits, if you build the right awareness, you'll begin to enjoy your physicality. I worked in Seattle for the last year that I lived in America because I thought, all right, if I'm going to make a go of it in America, I think Seattle's probably the only place I can do it. And because it's got all the good of the West Coast, but it's not so oppressively American, right? And I loved it because it's a wild place. It's a place where I can get out on the weekends and I can, in an hour, I can be in the backcountry. Any direction, I can be in the backcountry. So I encourage people to build habits outside of the gym, outside of work that make the difference. Get off your chair, young lady. Get out there and start hiking some more. I've seen videos of you hiking. I know you can do it.
I love hiking, Travis, and I still do. But some of the pain points is starting to show up, and it has somewhat made me less active.
Yeah,
So
well, you become movement averse as the pain begins to creep in. And that's the thing is a lot of folks I run into, especially back when I was trying to push this rock up the hill and do the sales side of this whole thing, people are resistant to it because they've already given up. They reach the point where they're 45, 50 years old. They've let it go so far, and now it hurts when they get started. But I promise, a million times I promised, it's never too late.
Okay.
And, the NLP side, my old mentor used to be he still is, a big Anthony Robbins guy. And I took what I could from the Anthony Robbins systems. But one of the most important things is the question, this one's fun. When is now a good time to get started? And so that's it. That's the thing is the moment you become aware of it, the moment you realize it's a problem, that's your now. And so if you begin now, you don't lose anymore. And so begin now, guys. If you feel it already, don't just give up.
And you know what, Travis? I know that going to the gym like 5 hours a week or 3 hours a week, so those hours are great. But then, like, we have the rest of the 23 hours, not outside of the 1 hour at the gym, that we do things wrong. For example, sit, stand still, or lie down. So I know that so you've addressed standing neutral in the neutral posture, and sitting in a neutral posture, plus the standing and movements, and to keep the stretch in. Now, in terms of lying or sleeping, I know that, I don't know about you, but there are days when, how do we say it? I wake up on the wrong side of the bed or something like that. Like, okay, so what happened? How did I hurt myself? Because just lying.
We're trying to rest. Well, first off, it all begins with, of course, what you did before you laid down. That's the most important things. So, as I said, your body has a biomechanical design by which it's supposed to operate. If you're operating it outside of that design, you're going to end up with imbalances. You're going to end up with injuries. when you become injured, your body's going to tighten around that injury and boom, more imbalance, right? So the first step to sleeping comfortably, to laying comfortably, is getting your body balanced before you do it. I don't want to poo-poo the value of time spent in the gym. All I'm saying is, if you don't build the right habits around that, then you're really cutting into the value of it. So, again, paying attention to how you relate to that zero state, using that as a base, using that as your standards for analysis. As you go through your day, having that in mind, having that philosophy of movement in mind, we're so drawn away from the physical. Not only is our work and social life largely sedentary, we've got this little screen in front of our face that encourages us to just gelatinize all day, right? So the first thing I would say, speaking along the lines of how to comfortably get a nice sleep, would be make sure that you are plugged into your physicality all day. Make sure that you're aware of your body first off, right? That's gonna make the biggest difference, because you don't want to be in a position where now it's time to go to sleep and you can't find a way to get comfortable, you know? So when people ask me about laying down, people ask me about how to get a good posture for sleep, I take them back to the beginning and I say, well, what were you doing before you slept? What made you need that sleep? That's where the key is, because if you lay down out of balance, all the good posture in the world in your laying down isn't really going to help that much. And so the biggest thing I would say before is do your stretches. If you go to bed all tight, if you go to bed all out of alignment, then you're going to wake up having slept on the wrong side of the bed more than anything else. And when it comes to laying down, you want to make sure that you're supported, okay? I myself have uncommon these days, particularly for Americans, uncommon proportions. I know I'm speaking to some of you guys from above the ice wall up there in the Great White North, but some of my people are here, I'm sure. I've got broader shoulders, a smaller waist, and a big old ghetto booty, a big old get. And so if I'm to lay on my side, I'm pushing my spine out of alignment, right? And so if I do sleep on my side, and sometimes I do, I'll take a pillow and put it between my legs. They talk about the mountain climber, being the worst possible way to sleep. If you're laying on your side like this, one leg down and one knee up, put something under that knee and it'll bring your spine back into alignment. Okay. The main thing to think about while laying is spinal alignment. Bringing this whole big mess of talking there back around, that's our main concern when sleeping, because your body's about to enter a passive state. You're going to stop doing a lot of the holding that you do right now when you're awake, and so you're subjecting your spine, mainly more than anything else, your spine and your rib cage, to the forces that you've set up ahead of time for it to experience when you let go, right? And so if my body's tight, if my hip flexors, if my hip complex in general is tight, it's going to be dragging on my spine. And so then when I lay down and I pass from knowing, I'm not holding that in place anymore. So the minimal amount of restraint I'm putting against that tightness I put in my system is no longer present, and things get pulled out of alignment. So they recommend sleeping on your back if you can. But at that, you would want to raise your chin up, put a pillow underneath so that way you don't obstruct your breathing passage. If you're going to sleep on your side, put something underneath that knee. Lift up your leg or between your legs to kind of take your hips back into alignment so they're not pulled sideways on your back. Mainly, that's the thing, the main concern.
I think for me, it's not the fact that usually is the problem. It's usually the neck. So and I think you just point out the problem, that it was, what did I do before going to bed? I think that's probably because of all the sitting, which
yeah.
Okay.
It's starting to come together, isn't it? Yeah, you see a little picture emerge, right? Yeah.
I'm not doing
I see it happen.
anything. Why am I having all this pain?
Let's reevaluate. So this is where the NLP comes in. What words did you just say? I'm not doing anything. Why am I feeling this pain? Okay, so take the second one, break it off, set it up top now. Why am I feeling all this pain? I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So here's the thing, Travis. I need to bring you back next week because this is the week where I want people to get to know you a little bit and then ask you questions because I don't have live questions at the moment, but I'm sure lots of my friends and including myself have problems, have pain here and there. So I get to ask you the questions that pertains to me, to my body. But next week I want to bring you back for basically explaining what to do properly with our body, the 24/7, and then also just address some of the questions that I can gather from our viewers. Okay.
And
Same
that's
time.
why my sister.
By the way, I'm so lucky to have you as I call like faculty members of the health pillar, because I can't find anyone better than you to represent this.
Well, that's a sad state.
Hey, I actually love you because not only your work, okay, my experience of you when I went through your program is like, ooh, I need more of Travis. Ooh, I want to be closer to Travis. I want to be like, just side by side with him like for at least a month so that to correct my postures. Because the problem is, yeah, I know what is right, but I keep forgetting my body is not in that neutral because my habit have made it different and the wrong position feels normal. And so that's why I know for a fact that having been through your program, I have the knowledge, but I still don't have the new habits ingrained yet. So definitely need
The
to
only thing that
spend
can
more time with you.
Yeah, they say the only thing that can replace a habit is a habit. But I mean, that's the thing. It takes a little bit of time. It takes the exposure, and then it takes the repeated, just kind of refreshing it. But that's why we do the class the way we do. The NLP element of it is because people ask all the time. They're like, "Well, what do you mean by NLF? Are you going to teach me some NLP?" Yeah, I mean, if you're paying attention, real close, we're going to say it in the very beginning. We leverage your own experience to make that the teacher. And that allows me to be boundlessly humble about this whole thing because I'm not doing it. You're doing it. I'm putting in your head. I'm entering the suggestion into your mind. And what we do is we bring people in, we structure the outflow of information in such a way that you encounter the lessons yourself. If I'm feeding you everything, something's going to dribble down your chin, first off. Second, sometimes you'll turn your head, you've fed a baby before, right? But if I put you in a situation where you have the physical experience, you experience you directly in contact with perceived external reality, wink to my meditator friends there on that term, perceived external reality, then you'll form your own questions. And if I do my job right, then the answers are forthcoming. The answers will be there in the coming days of the course. So that way you're building questions in your mind that then I help you again by bringing some more experience in that provides the answers. Then it helps to anchor that in your mind in a way that I can't do myself. I simply cannot teach you that well. You're a far better teacher in here than I am. So explain yourself to it more.
Okay, I would love for you to share a little bit about the structure of your program because that's actually very different from other types of fitness programs out there. Can you share about your NLF program? The way
first,
you present it, yeah.
First off, stop calling her that. If anybody's seen the movie Four Rooms, I'm full of references, guys. I'll be spitting out weird references. It's a chaotic place.
I'm not
Uh,
getting any of your reference because I don't watch those things or I haven't heard of them.
you're Canadian. You're Canadian. They don't have the same stuff up there, do they? You guys
I
have
don't
TVs,
know.
right?
Yes, but I came here when I was 13, so I think I missed a chunk of the reference that you're mentioning.
Yeah, somebody out there will get it.
Okay.
Anyway, stop calling her that. It's not a fitness program. Uh,
Oh, okay.
it's a movement class. Okay, we teach about movement. I hate calling it fitness because again, NLP deals with a quick word about NLP for those of you that I keep hearing it and I don't know what the hell it means.
Yeah.
NLP, neuro linguistic programming, neuro linguistic programming, right? Pretty simple there, right? What it means is it's referring to a gap. You have an experience, right? Experience. Then your brain slaps a word on that so that you have a movable point to reference that experience in your thoughts, right? Neurolinguistic programming deals with inculcating yourself into that little gap, getting your will stuck into that gap between perception and language. Because in that gap, you have power over the universe. You build your own entire world out of words. You build the pieces that you move around inside your head to describe and understand and analyze reality out of words, right? And so if you can insert yourself right there in that gap between perception and formation of language, you can decide what language you assign to different pieces of experience, right? And so if you understand that, then you can start to really, really, really move around your entire grasp of experience. And you can custom tailor your experience of reality based on the language that you use to describe it, to analyze it, to just move it around in your mind, you know? And so learning from that, we moved into fitness with it. We took fitness, we broke fitness down into movement, a relationship with your physical reality. I feel like everyone's got a term, fitness, in their mind and a meaning, fitness, in their mind linked together. When I say fitness, you guys feel something. You guys have an association point. The brain is an association engine, they say. One of my old teachers used to challenge students. He'd say, have a novel thought. Think something that's completely unconnected to anything else you've ever thought. And everybody would just freeze. You can't do it. You can't have, unless it's an emergent thing that pops out of gnosis or something like that. Your brain is an association engine. And so your thoughts are products of your thoughts. And so when a new word comes in, you take that word, you assign it a meaning based on the associative process of the web you already have in place. And now that term, that experience in reality are one thing, right? And so you then build kind of a lens where any subsequent experiences of that line get that same tag put on. Powerful stuff. If you can master that, or if you can approach that, you don't need to master it. If you can approach that with that intent, with saying, okay, I'm going to custom tailor my linguistic relationship with the reality that I'm perceiving, then again, superpowers. So what we do is in this class, in this movement class, not fitness, we help you reassert what architecture you have, I guess, for managing and encountering and just dealing with your relationship with physical reality, starting with your experience of your own body. And so we broke it down into 3 easy things, okay? You got your nervous system, you got your bones, and you got your muscles. And so what I mean when I say we kind of meet out the knowledge is we start on day 1 talking about your nervous system. And I act like I had a stroke and can't remember the other 2 at all. We talk only about the nervous system, okay? Because if we start off with the full frame, you're going to miss things. Because as I said, you've got hidden secret associations built into these language. And when we start talking about those things will get in our way. We start from 0. We say, okay, nervous system. We talk about just the way your nervous system responds to physical reality. From there, you're going to have a bunch of questions because we didn't talk about bones and muscles at all. And yet we're using bones and muscles as kind of a infrastructure for this experience to take place. Then the second day we move you into bones, because 9 times out of 10, you hear people saying, I got an injured knee, or I got a bum shoulder, not, ow, my bicep. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get sore muscles, but for the most part, most pain, most injury, most dysfunction comes from a dysfunctional joint, right? So our thinking is you deal with the nervous system, you put someone in the driver's seat, get them in their little mech suit, their little Gundam, you know, driving around, and then you tell them about their bones. Biomechanically talk about the function and operation of your joints, right? Because if you get that clean, you don't have any worries. Then you move on to muscles and all is revealed, my son. You bring people in and say, okay, this is why. Remember yesterday when we were talking about the fact that your knee was all messed up? Well, the reason is because this muscle and this muscle aren't working properly together to stabilize that bad boy. And this muscle are not letting it, or not forcing it along the right line. So the joint tracking is, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I mean? And then the whole picture comes together. We do 3 days of that for education. We bring you in, we talk to you about those 3 things. Then we bring you in for another 3 days of application, where now I'm free. The leashes are off, and I can now talk about all 3 things on Neuro Day 2. I've got my full complement of arms here, and I can bring to bear the knowledge that you now have about your joints and your muscles when I'm talking about your neurological system for the second day. Same thing with the skeletal day 2 and then muscle day 2. And then the final day, we bring you back in and we do a review. We bring it all together. We tie all the concepts together, answer some questions. The class is about students. I never teach the same class twice in any of my classes. Mm. I feel if you do that, you're not really doing what you're asked to do. You're not helping people. You're presenting some spiel, right? Online programs where we do that with a long form or an online only kind of thing, we try to make it as open as possible so we can kind of cast the net broad and get as many people as possible covered with the way we present the information. But the real thing's always going to be best. Because if I can look you in the eyes and you can tell me the problem you have specifically, I can say, okay, show me how you do that. You say, my knee hurts. I say, great, show me how you do my knee hurts. And you do it for me and I say, then I do it. Mm. Oh, yeah, that does hurt, man. So do you feel this when you do that? Does this happen inside your body? With you? So it allows us to kind of dial it in, and get it really perfect that way.
So good. I'm just waiting for that opportunity to actually do that with you.
Here, wait, man. My days are cheap.
Okay, so this is why. Okay, and actually, I need to wrap up very soon because but luckily I have you next week again to address all the pains, so that you can actually address how to fix it. Of course, granted that. Now, here's the thing. I understand that the pain didn't happen overnight. It happened because of years and years of abuse and wrong posture and wrong movement.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, but if for someone, so for example, for me right now, I know that my left knee has a problem when I walk up the stairs, when I walk up the hills hiking. So much so that if I go hiking, I'm going to have to wear a knee brace just to keep it safe. And it does help. So, but all of these are just, what do you call them? Temporary fixes for those situations. Is it reversible, Travis? Like, can I actually reverse that pain and not have that pain anymore?
Here's the thing. I hate to overpromise and underdeliver. So I'm always going to be using the most careful language. And a consummate professional, if we encounter a problem that's above my pay grade, you're getting sent to a specialist. But generally speaking, yes. Outside of extreme cases where there's been damage really done, and you are really, really, really old. So, no. You're not bad off at all. I've watched you move. You've been through our online class. There's nothing that's too far gone here. What you and I need to do is we need to sit down off frame here and talk about stretching, because straight up, most knee pain and back pain. We got knees, backs, and shoulders. Those are the big three. Okay. Most knee pain and back pain, I can clear you up in a quick stretch session, and I can give you something that you can do enduring going on that's going to help to alleviate that and kind of mitigate it. What I would say is, chances are, because your knee is a simple joint. Well, it's the most complex joint in the body, but it's a simple joint. Both at the same time, you've got two muscles that operate. You get your quads on the top, quadriceps. On the bottom, you get your hamstrings. Hamstrings, close it, quadriceps, open it, right? And so if you stretch both of those muscles real well, I would be willing to bet your knee pain will at least decrease.
Okay.
You've probably just got chronic tightness in one of those muscles. It's got your antagonistic pairing and your length tension relationship, and all those fancy science words out of whack, so that now you're experiencing one of the rubber bands is too tight and it's pulling real hard. And when you move the thing, it grinds. Okay. So one of your rubber bands is too tight, loosen that rubber band and the lever will move properly.
And then I used to have a question wondering why
used
the
to have a
left
question.
knee? Why used to?
I like
I
it.
still do, but I think I have the answer. Like, why the left and not the right, and why not both? That I experience pain. Why just one side?
A quality question. I talk about the dark room principle. So if you're right-handed and you step into a dark room, what you're going to do is, and I'm imagining, all my references are dated too, because I left the States a long time ago. I'm imagining Boris the Blade from Snatch. You step into a dark room, no lights. You're going to immediately, reflexively go like this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Start questing about.
Yeah. Feeling the room, right?
Stable side, and this is your feely side, right? So you're used to stabilizing on the left because you're stronger down this line. Like if you try and do something here, all right side, you're going to be all horribly unstable and wobbly. But if you do a base on your left side and then you reach around with your right side, you're much more stable because we're built across those lines, right? Our slings, they call it. They're cooperations of muscles on either side that keep us stable and balanced by generating and then resisting force within our own system, right? So right-handed is going to be left-legged as far as stability goes, right? And you see it time and again. I put somebody on their left leg, they're fine. I put somebody on their right leg, knick-knock, 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 shake, 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 right? So that's what it is. You're just getting extra usage out of that limb because that's how you're built. And so again, understanding these things, the first step to mitigating the pain, first step to really getting on top of what can I do, ounce of prevention, pound of cure. What can I do for my ounce of prevention?
Okay. So you know what, Travis, I'm going to have a list of diseases or pains or questions that I'm just going to go through them next week with you. Is that okay? because your program, I understand, and we're going to launch the online version of it based on my request. And thank you so much for indulging me and running this class for me, with me, and for the community that I serve, that I hang around with. I know that as I age, and well, my friends are my age too, so we all are beginning to have these issues that it's no more. It's almost like I can't ignore it anymore. Like this kind of feeling, it's not right. It shouldn't be feeling like that. And so, and even when I play pickleball or something as a very fun sport to play, or going hiking, now all of a sudden, sometimes I would see the pinch. I would feel the pinch on the knee, and then it ruined the games. Well, I'm blaming it on if I lose
the bill at the end, and you're like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely
What are these extra charges?
yeah. So I'm really excited to actually go deep dive into the all the whys and how we can actually fix it. And of course, I'm hoping that we can actually run a class towards the end of the month, towards the end of
Nice.
April. So then that way we can actually spread what you teach. I wish what you teach is actually available in school since they were like 5 or 6. Man, that would make all the difference for all the humanity, like how we move, how we do. Because my kids nowadays, Travis, they're only 16 and 7 and 18, and yet their shoulder is already slumped when I play the piano. Like it's not straight. And I keep telling straight up, straight up. So I'm like the constant reminder, the broken record when I see it like that. Yeah. But
you
it's
try to
only
stun them, like one of those, right?
that probably
Question
works
of
better.
motivation, Glenn. The question of motivation. No, yeah. I mean, we were busy playing, softball and dodgeball and half-ass basketball in gym class. I mean, who's got time to learn about movement?
That is so sad. Yeah, I wish your program is actually infiltrated into our education system, because gym time, or they have it as a is it gym time? I forgot what it is, but it is part of their daily curriculum.
Yeah, phys ed. Yeah, we all had phys ed, but we would play dodgeball.
Yes, phys ed. Oh, it's been a long time since I've been in school. But yes, in the phys ed program, I remember learning sports, but the fundamentals, how to move, that's just not there.
They didn't teach us anything we could use when we were in school. I mean, the lines of symmetry are there. They were busy with this curriculum of crap, and they just didn't bother teaching us anything that we could actually use in real life. And so, yeah, you hit a little sore spot here in the old Claus man heart. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I kept wishing that many a day.
Well, let's change that. Hopefully, whoever is meant to see your interview and your work, whoever you can touch, they can get the benefit from it. So, and I'm one of them. Thank you so much for all that you do, and I will see you again next Wednesday, same time.
It was beautiful. It was a pleasure to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Okay, now you can go back to your class. I think you're beginning to move. I love your garden so much. It's beautiful back there. I would love to visit you for your offline course back in Vietnam sometime.
Guys, she says this all the time. And
I really want to go there maybe this year.
Maybe. Okay. You hear that language?
Okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, so let's do this online class first, and then I'll arrange for some offline special trip retreat back in your space. My goodness, if we could actually do like a 1 week, 2 weeks, kind of even a full month retreat, I would come back a different person. Oh man,
that would be beautiful. That'd be incredible. Really like to get that together, but that relies on you guys there. All the faces I can't see out there in cyber world. You guys would. You guys get a little taste of this and think you'd like it, because this is the basic course, guys. This is where we begin. Like I need an entire week with you just to get the basics in place. Yeah. Because I mean, from there the tree grows. But this is the meat and potatoes of your relationship with physical reality, and we're so far drifted off of base that it takes that long for me to tell you how to get back to zero. But I mean, it's definitely far from a lost cause.
For sure. Mr. Travis Claus, thank you so much. I will see you again next week. Have a great day. Bye.
See you guys.